Hello and welcome to our School at Home class in English for grade 10. We are in the fourth quarter of our set of lessons, and I hope everybody will delight in learning today with lesson number 9, using writing conventions to acknowledge sources. In this lesson, you will particularly learn to 1. Define writing conventions. 2. Differentiate the key writing conventions. And 3. Identify errors in writing conventions to acknowledge sources. Let us start first with a pretest. What writing convention was misused in the following acknowledgement of sources? Choose the letter of your choice and write it in a piece of paper. Number 1. A. Punctuation. B. Grammar. C. Spelling. Number 2. A. Punctuation. B. Grammar. C. Capitalization. Number 3. A. Capitalization. B. Spelling. C. Grammar. Number 4. A. Punctuation. B. Grammar. C. Spelling. Number 5. A. Grammar. B. Spelling. C. Punctuation. The correct answers for the pretest are number 1, C. Spelling. 2. B. Grammar. 3. A. Capitalization. Number 4. B. Grammar. And number 5. C. Punctuation. Research is a part of the K-12 curriculum. As 21st century learners and products of this curriculum, you need to develop a good research environment. This research environment will teach you how to value and respect the works of other researchers. This is through acknowledging your sources. But how will you do this? First, you need to understand the value of writing conventions. Being careful with writing conventions will also show respect to the works of other writers and researchers. Writing conventions may be a new term for you, so to easily understand today's lesson, you have to learn first what writing conventions are. Writing conventions are elements that help make writing clear and more understandable. Writing conventions are a set of generally accepted standards for written English. For today's lesson, we are going to discuss using writing conventions to acknowledge sources. With the given definitions, you can already observe that writing conventions is a very important area in learning any language. These conventions will help people in better understanding messages. This is also true in doing researches. It is also a vital part to know how to properly use these writing conventions in writing the whole research material and even in acknowledging sources. Before learning the writing conventions to use, let us first enumerate the reasons why you should acknowledge sources in research. Citing sources is important for various reasons. 1. To show your reader you've done proper research by listing sources you use to get your information. 2. To be a responsible scholar by giving credit to other researchers and acknowledging their ideas. 3. To avoid plagiarism by quoting words and ideas used by other authors. And 4. To allow your reader to track down the sources you used by citing them accurately in your paper by way of footnotes, a bibliography, or reference list. Now, when should you acknowledge sources? You should acknowledge sources whenever you use a source of information. 1. As your inspiration. 2. As the source of a theory, argument, or point of view. 3. For specific information such as statistics, examples, or case studies. 4. For direct quotation or using the author's exact words. And 5. To paraphrase or summarize an author's work. In writing, it is also very noteworthy to avoid plagiarism. The word plagiarism has come from the Latin word plagiarus, which means to kidnap. As the plagiarism definition suggests, when someone uses the work of another writer without properly citing the source or giving credit, then that will be an instance of plagiarism. Plagiarism is a punishable offense, and it is a form of intellectual theft. Now that you already know the reasons for acknowledging sources, let us now go back to writing conventions. There are 4 key writing conventions that you can apply in acknowledging sources. They are spelling, capitalization, punctuation, and grammar. Each of these writing conventions are equally important in writing. Let us discuss the significance of each writing convention. Number 1. Spelling. Learning how to spell words is one of the most useful lifelong skills, and it builds the basic foundation that all children will need throughout their education and life in general. Learning how to spell is very important for other basic skills, including writing and reading. These skills support children in achieving good results and progressing through various grades. What is more, being good at spelling may have an impact on the future careers of students. Example: the word Philippine was misspelled. It should be Philippine. Number 2. Punctuation. Punctuation helps us to read something the way it is meant to be read. It helps us to know when to pause, when to read with more expression, and when to stop and start a new sentence. When we speak, we have multiple ways of making our meaning clear: rhythm, intonation, and pausing appropriately. We don't have that luxury with the written word, so proper punctuation serves that purpose. In this example, there should be a comma after the surname Maria Guerrero, not a period. Number 3. Capitalization. Capitalization tells us when a new sentence begins, along with punctuation, when something is a proper name or when something is a title. It helps us emphasize or show the importance of certain words, and it helps us shorten long phrases into acronyms that take up less written space and are often easier to remember. In this example, the first letter of the word Filipino should be capitalized because that is a proper noun. Number 4. Grammar. Grammar is the structure of our language and how words are used to properly form a sentence. Again, there are plenty of rules to follow and sometimes plenty of rules to break. However, using proper grammar allows you to get your point across to your readers in a way that makes it easy for them to understand. In this example, the word nationalistic is grammatically wrong. It should be nationalism. Let's try a few items as practice exercise. Identify the key writing components that were incorrect in the following reference list. Choose only the letter of your choice. Number 1. A. Capitalization. B. Punctuation. C. Grammar. The correct answer is B. Punctuation. Number 2. A. Spelling. B. Grammar. C. Capitalization. The correct answer is A. Spelling. Number 3. A. Capitalization. B. Spelling. C. Grammar. The correct answer is A. Capitalization. Number 4. A. Spelling. B. Capitalization. C. Grammar. Correct answer is C. Grammar. Number 5. A. Grammar. B. Spelling. C. Capitalization. The correct answer for number 5 is C. Capitalization. If you got it all correctly, then it's amazing. To sum up everything we have talked about in this lesson, let's show our learning by doing the following. Fill out the triangles with learnings you gained on the importance of using correct writing conventions. Let us have another activity. List down 3 books following correct use of writing conventions. Make sure that the book you will list is about the nationalism of Filipinos. Use the correct format in acknowledging sources, just like what is shown in the previous activities.
Do you want to know?